Okay, Borzou Daragahi, an international correspondent for The Independent, joins me now on set for more on this. Borzou, thanks so much for coming in on the show. Now, where did Amnesty get these numbers?
It's still not clear. They say that they got it from their network of activists and sources inside Iran. But, you know, that's a lot of people. Just to give you an idea, in 2009, when there was massive protests throughout Iran against the forged election results, there was maybe 100 or so people killed over the course of 8 months of protests. So this would be a very, very alarming number. This would represent a very significant escalation in violence, and this needs to be verified much more completely.
Can these kind of reports anger people even more?
I mean, I think that Iran is the kind of country where if you kill 100 people, there's going to be funerals for them. There's going to be names. It's not North Korea. It is an authoritarian state, but it's not that level of closeness that you wouldn't be able to know about this. So I think people will be confused at first, but I don't know if they're going to get any more angry than they already are.
Tell us more about this measure imposed by the government. What is President Rouhani saying about this? Is this good for the economy, and why it angered so many in Iran?
Well, I think that, you know, it is probably good for the economy. Most economists and environmentalists have long urged Iran to remove subsidies on fuel that give Iranians some of the cheapest oil prices in the world, that encourages wastefulness, that causes environmental degradation and hurts the economy. On the other hand, the way this was introduced in the dead of the night, just before the weekend started, it seemed as if the government was trying to sneak this in on people. And it caused a lot of anger because it's going to create a lot of inflation, and people are already suffering because of the sanctions that the U.S. has imposed on the country, because of the price increases that have resulted, and because of joblessness among the youth that is persistent throughout the Middle East.
And in your opinion, where is this going? How do you see this unfolding?
These sorts of leaderless, unstructured protests very rarely go anywhere in Iran and other countries. And at this point, the security forces, judging by the sizes of the crowds that I've seen in videos, are able to handle this, are able to use various techniques, including potentially lethal force, to suppress these protests. The crowd sizes just ain't that big to be scary or a threat to the regime. But the fact that both urban and rural people came out against these price hikes and protested, that must have been a shock to the regime. It was people across the board. There was no demographic divide as there have been in previous demonstrations.
Yeah, they definitely seemed shocked. What can we expect from the government? Can they do anything to stop this?
Well, I mean, they will take control of the streets. Not just with security forces, but with, you know, pro-government rallies that have been organized over the last few days, when you get the regime acolytes coming out in buses for free food to go into the streets and chant in favor of the supreme leader. So you do have that already. And then they will essentially tighten the security state. Already they've also and this is part of the reason why people don't know what's going on there, and they give numbers like 100 dead. They've shut down the internet.
Yes, it's Saturday.
Yeah, so it's really hard to tell what's going on there. It's really hard to communicate with people there and so on to get any accounts of what is actually happening.
Okay, we'll leave it there. Borzou Daragahi, thanks so much for coming in and for this insight for us on the latest from Iran.